your host, Abby Pagoon, and this is our first official episode of Keeping It Real with Real People. And who else did I ever want to even think of adding to the crew of Keeping It Real with Real People but Miss Audra Whatley.
I'm a real people.
She's a real people. She is. She's a real people. And what's even better is she's a really good friend of mine. And I met her and didn't even know she would become such a good friend. And now she is like the back pocket to my everything. So when it comes to don't know me, I specialize in fitness and nutrition. I do all the things. I do all craziness. I abuse people in all the appropriate ways and then leave them in their home to rest. and when I can't figure out something's going on with my person, or if I need blood work, or if I need to know even more things, this woman makes me look like an idiot. Just saying. It's true. She's so smart. She's wicked. She goes and she is our guest for the day. So without further ado, can you tell me just a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do? Because everyone knows I abuse people.
Abuse people. I try not to abuse people. I help people be more zen.
That's a good one. Okay.
I help people be more zen. So I am a licensed acupuncturist, a certified functional medicine practitioner, practicing in Allen, Texas. And
yeah.
That's
and
a little what I
she
do,
also just wrote a book. So to which you guys have seen before if you actually follow me. Yeah. But if you don't follow me, you haven't seen it before. So here you go. So this is actually available on Amazon. If you ever want to look it up, go to Amazon and you can actually get it. It's called If I'm Not Hypothyroid, What's Wrong? And how many of us are clearly having fatigue and all the things that come with thyroidism?
I work with a lot of women who are in their 40s and 50s who are foggy, fluffy, and fatigued. And all those other effing words that we can come up with.
Well, here, I actually do say the F word quite a lot. She knows this because I can go on rambles. But in my world, the F word is the FAT world. But
I say fluffy. She says FAT.
But I never say the word. I say the F word, like fucking stupid. Yeah, but I don't say the FAT word because that's like forbidden. We don't. That's me.
It's fluffy.
Right. Absolutely. So anyway, today what we're going to do is our subject of the day is going to be about changes. So in our changes, it's like, whoa, changes. And we are really going to dive into that. But the best part is that if you've watched some of my other previous episodes, not Keeping It Real with Real People, but my other podcasts, I seem to keep wearing the same shirt. And so I literally got ready today, headed off to work, had no problem. And then the next thing you notice, I was at the grocery store 2 hours ago and I'm like, oh shit, I'm wearing the same freaking shirt that I wore like 3 weeks ago. And the worst part is, the Christmas episode I did, I actually was wearing this shirt because I realized I was wearing the same thing. So we're going to talk about change, and we're not meaning clothes, but clearly I need to take notes for my own stuff and change my shirt. But anyway, before we get into everything, we have to bring up our capital partner of the month. So one of the things that I decided to do is that we are going to have a capital partner that is a spotlight to our Capital Life podcast. And we actually will talk about how amazing they are during that month, during the podcast. And our capital partner of the month is Fred Mahusai with Fred Shots Photography. Now, how he got selected as the very first capital partner is the insane amount of editing that this man has had to do in the last 2 months for what? I cannot tell you how quickly, how effective. You've had he's done your headshot before. Yeah. He has done 2 of my headshots, my husband's, my son's. He has filmed the most amazing works. All of his work is seen currently on my Capital Health website right now. If you need to reach out to him, look up fredshots.com. You can also find him at Fred Shots Photography at YouTube. You can also find him as Fred Mahusai on Facebook, and he is freaking fabulous. So, without further ado, I can't wrong anymore. It's time for changes. We have to start talking about changes. So, I kind of want to change this up a little bit instead of me just rambling all the time, because I do that a lot. We're going to actually ask Audra here some questions and then kind of see like some of the commonalities and the differences, because I always love that. The thing about I like real people is that so many of us come from so many different backgrounds. We all have different perspectives on things, and when we kind of actually start openly talking about these things, we get a different sense of opinion. We get this camaraderie. We can actually help each other through our life and everything else. So my first question for you is, out of your line of work, what are the top 3 resistance to change actions that you see from people?
Yeah, so the big ace number 1 is like everybody comes in they want things to change, but they don't necessarily want to do the actual things to change.
Like the work.
Okay. It's kind of like, they'll change their diet sort of if they can still eat the things that they love to eat.
I get that one. I get that one a lot, and I know that some of my clients that are out there that do that know that they do this, and I know who you are, and you know who you are, and I will say your name on screen. Or I'm just kidding. I won't. But
no initials.
No initials, no nothing. I promise your secret's safe with me. But it's true. It's really interesting because when you talk to somebody about like, hey, by the way, if we kind of eat eggs every day, maybe we should like stop, because it could end up becoming a problem. And they're like, but I love them. And so I even tell some of my clients, and I won't say her name.
Or even if they do testing and it shows up clearly that they have an allergy to eggs, they still want to eat eggs.
Right.
It's like, well, what do I eat for breakfast if I can't have
so
eggs?
So continue
there's
eating
nothing else.
Continue eating the thing that causes the most inflammation.
Yeah, because they can't think of anything.
And like, oh my God, my stomach hurts. Oh, I wonder why.
But they just keep eating them just because.
Right. Or, technically, if you do have some sensitivity to eggs and you still want to eat them, you can have her clean, and then you can continue eating them. I'm just saying. So, because she's got this amazing machine.
Sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. I mean,
yeah,
there are the system that I use is called Advanced Allergy Therapeutics, and basically I hook people up to a cuff and I expose them to a digital signal of the eggs themselves.
And it's so weird. You just sit there.
Massager.
You just sit there. You do nothing. And then it just retrains the CNS and all the connection to the brain to basically say, I'm no longer a threat, so that you can actually keep eating those things. But
it doesn't, it's not, I mean, it's better for accidental exposures, for sensitivities, but it's not necessarily going to take away those biological reactions or the fact that you don't break things down.
Completely.
So it's still a good idea to take those things out for a while.
Right. Which, I have done numerous times.
She's a champ. She's better than me. I mean, I'm one of those people that I just can't let go of tortilla chips.
No, mine. I cheated on potatoes and we could go again.
Right.
And then she's like, hey, I can clear you for potatoes. And I'm like, no, I need to learn my lesson because I just need to stop. I love potatoes. They're so good. So good. Tell me another one. Yeah.
So another one.
Change
issues. A lot of times it's about changing your mind. It's not about changing your actions, because so many people are so attached to whatever their diagnosis is. People are so attached to well, I have fibromyalgia, and I'm like, okay, well, can you hold it in your hand? Can you take it out and show it to me? And the answer to that is no. You can't. You can't take it out. You have a list. You have a list of symptoms that were named something.
Right.
And so sometimes changing
Which fibromyalgia in general, being a diagnosis, is really not a diagnosis at all.
It just means there's inflammation of the sheath of the nerve. That's literally what it means. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you can change your mind so that you're not to it, like changing your mind will actually help you to start relieving some of those symptoms and hiding behind Nui.
The protective.
It doesn't necessarily, the changing your mind alone doesn't always change your experience of the symptoms, but a lot of times reframing things into a positive mindset actually changes how you feel overall. It definitely changes your well-being. So, that's one of the things that I work with a lot of people is like, okay, let's see what your body's telling us today and how can we reframe that?
Yeah, which is huge because it's really not, it's not about just, okay, this is a long-term side effects. It's really about like, what's going on with me today and what can I do to make it better today,
right now.
Not waiting for too long and then I have to fix a freaking body that's already weeks upon weeks of damage.
Years.
Oh God. Oh,
years
those
later.
are the worst.
Yeah. How long has this been going on? Oh, about 2 years.
And I've been able to do that. She's so happy in here today. She's like, I want to be a star. Guess what? Nobody watches my stuff. So, at any rate, do you have any third annoying, like, little tidbits that you see that are resistant to change? And Nui, do you have any?
Nui
You have no issues?
Nui says it's all about the sleep.
Okay.
If you can't change your sleep patterns and turn off the screens so that we can sleep, then we don't stay healthy.
Okay. That's a good one. So funny. Okay, so it's New Year's. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year.
I was like, my New Year's, that was like an issue with a Motrin bottle and a young 5-year-old, and we didn't even get past day one.
I'm just going to wait for Chinese New Year's.
Probably a good idea. There's probably a lot more hope in that. Well, when I sit there and I think about, like, okay, New Year's is coming. Everyone talks about their reflections that never stay. But at the same time, what I kind of was thinking about it in a different way. And I was kind of thinking, if there was something that I wanted to see changed in the world, what would that be? And on that note, I really was starting to think about, when we have natural disasters in our world and we have the unexpected, right? Like the unexpected, you're going through a trauma of something or whatever. And it's when you're at like your lowest point. But whatever seems to happen is people really just open their heart. They seek you out. They come, they help. They really are trying to be there. And like, they don't even know who you are. Perfect strangers come out of the woodwork and they are just willing and compelled to help. And for me this year, I was kind of thinking about it and I was like, you know what I would really like to see is people to start living as if every day is a natural disaster or some kind of catastrophe, so that we are actually, loving our neighbor and actually being there to support someone or, like helping anybody. And that's kind of where I was like, I'd really like to see, that's something I'd really like to see in the world right now, is like more of that compassion and forethought, that we have no idea what the fuck is going on with somebody else's life, but we can at least be kind and sweet and endearing. Yeah. But I don't what do you think about?
Yeah, I always think that changes in the world take place first right here.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And so
true.
It's one of those things where it's like, if I want to see a happier world, if I want to see people coming together, if I want to see that out in the world, it's like I have to get out of my house and actually be in communication.
You have to get out of your house.
I have to get out of my house.
You have to get out of your house. Get out of your house.
Get out of his house.
Don't change your shirt. Because I have it. Why would I? I'm so comfy. But I need to get out of my house.
You gotta get out of your house.
You gotta get out of the house.
You gotta get out of that shirt.
I wash it. I swear I do. Today is laundry day. I will. I promise.
It's the laundry day shirt. So just because the podcast.
Well, it's the pre-laundry day because I have to wear it again next week. So I have to do it in this week's laundering. But anyway.
So yeah, it's like starting with yourself, getting out of your house and starting to, see where you can be a contribution, where you can do things that you love. Because I promise you, especially if you're feeling in a funk and you're feeling tired and you're feeling, just because there's so much in the world, the thing that's going to get you out of your funk is actually to get out and to, be a contribution to someone else.
Completely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to make someone else feel.
In like 2 weeks, and like because we had COVID Christmas and all the things. I'm alive, we're good, but like it was, but it was crazy because it's like you're scooped up, whatever. And I swear, the same day happened every single day. Like nothing was different. I mean, I watched different movies, and the kids acted differently, and I might have used a couple yelling words, but like other than that, I like got out of the house and was like, is this tree real? Yeah. Like, I almost was petting things because I was like, I feel distorted. Like, you feel...
Groundhog Day.
Yes, completely.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah. And then you don't remember to talk, you don't remember to speak, you forget how to communicate with people. So how in the hell can you even, like, change if you're not... Change internally if you don't get out of your shell or get out and do something. Even doing something new.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Like a podcast that no one listens to, right? Hopefully I'll have like 1,000 like listeners or 10,000 listeners in the future, and
someday.
they'll be like,
and they'll be like, remember that episode number whatever this is?
No, I will still tell people they don't listen to me, even when I have 1,000 million viewers. Like I will still be that person to be like, no one's listening. Just turn it off. I'm speaking rambles again. I get it. I'm weird. Ignore me. Okay, so I know that we're like two funny, like happy people or whatever, giggly. I don't know if we're funny, but I think
we're funny.
We're laughing. So, I have to take it down a little bit and say, what are your biggest pet peeves that is creating a lack of change? I can't stand people that are like, my biggest pet peeve are like selfish people. Like I've really been to people that are inconsiderate of others because of pre-assumption, right? So like I have been saying I don't know, I came up with that quote like 6 months ago or something. Do you remember when I came up with it?
No idea.
You don't even remember. I quote myself.
I say
pre-assumption
I've slept since then.
Okay, so my quote is like, pre-assumption is the killer of communication. And with that in mind, I constantly cannot stand how some people just are so inconsiderate. They just pre-assume what someone's gone through, what they're living through, how they're feeling, what they've done, and they don't give them the benefit of the doubt. And that to me is like my ultimate pet peeve is like, dude, really? Like, it's like, I just can't.
But I think that we're all guilty of that sometimes, though. No matter how much you try not to be, it's like sometimes you're just going to be like, yeah, well, that person's not going to want to talk to me because they're all like whatever. And so,
I think we do it for an ego. I think we do it to like preserve our ego. Like if we see someone that makes a nasty face at us or whatever, we'll be like, wow, nobody really likes them anyway. Like, and I think we do it always like more as a preservation reaction.
Right.
But I found over like the last year, like I've been doing a lot of purifying the soul and shedding past traumas and things that no longer are serving me. Like things that behavioral traits that you hang on to that create your reaction almost instinctively without you realizing it, which you don't need anymore. Like right. We change so much. Change has been not marked down as one of like the most negative attributes, period, which is kind of crazy because our cells are always evolving. They're always progressing. They're always moving. Like
everything is always changing.
Absolutely.
Everything is always changing.
Why is it a bad thing?
I actually love change. I'm one of those people that thrives when
there's
a lot of change. I know.
We're done.
But
we're done.
Here's the thing. Yeah, shut it down. But the thing is, like, you know, change is one of those things that most people fear. Double trouble. Sorry. Yeah, you got it.
The question is, when did you put that on there? We got stuck talking. Oh my god, that was like 20 minutes ago. Sorry guys, we're so bad at comments. I'm still totally getting used to it. And we've got, okay, that's a great mindset perspective. I have no idea who said that, but thank you. I don't know. That was 10 minutes ago. And then we've got Christopher, who's my runner monkey, or the lead runner monkey of all of my developing, which you saw on my website.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so say hey to Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, so he's super funny. But anyway, so
But
where were we?
We were talking about change. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about
sure
change. So what I was saying is, like, I actually like change, but not change for the sake of change. Like, I mean, it's kind of like changing your shirt. You got your favorite shirt. Wear your favorite shirt.
I don't do it.
It is, right? Change for the sake of change when it comes to like that is kind of like, you know, it's very surface to me.
Okay.
You know, the change that like that I thrive in, that I absolutely love is like, I love to see new places I've never been. I love to do things. I love to step into things that scare me, just because if I don't, I start to get really stagnant and I get depressed. And if I'm not learning new things, I kind of get bored. I get bored and in a funk.
Which life seriously is way too depressing to get in a funk.
Right. And
like on a regular. Why would you?
I think that so much of our country, like probably the world, but I'm definitely going to say the country, you know, you get on your hamster wheel and you just keep doing the same things over and over and over and over and over. And you may want something different, but you're just following that over and over and over, which is, guess what? The definition of insanity, right? You know, without change. Without change.
The same
It's
damn
just
thing
insanity.
over and over again and expect a different result.
Really? Yeah. So change.
And the worst part is that some of the people that say that the most are the ones that do it.
Yes.
Like they're like the ones that are the most stuck in it than anything else.
And they're so frustrated and they're so upset because they can't make changes. But it's because they just keep doing the same things over and over and over and over again.
Which is because they sit there and they convince themselves that they hate change, even though they're still wanting change on a regular basis.
Yes. Yeah.
So, which I find fascinating as well. But
here's an interesting fact. Okay.
So I like facts.
Most of us develop our mindset programs before the age of 7, and we don't ever change them.
That's true.
Right? So it's like you actually have to consciously choose to go back and do a little bit of digging and reprogram some of those things that you set in stone when you were 5.
Right. And a lot of people don't realize that is because of a pre-existing, like a perception that was taken. Like, you know, you've told me before, like, you know, you think about a baby that's born into this world, they're just a massive beam of light, of energy, of excitement, of everything. And then they are observing their parents, who could be first-time parents at the time, and be nervous and terrified, you know, because they just had an elephant be dropped in the room and they were not expecting, oh my God, we have to go take care of this thing by ourselves for the first time. I know perhaps like, you're letting me leave with her? Like, are you sure?
Are you
like, you don't even know me. So here they're like, just here's your baby. And you don't, your reaction is you're scared, you're timid, like whatever. And that baby is seeing that reaction and then perceives, oh goodness. Or even like something as if you tasted like a sip of coffee and it tasted like crap and someone spits it out, they assume, oh my God, coffee is so gross. And then you clearly don't think that coffee is gross.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. Right. Like I miss coffee, so I had to buy mud water.
Yeah.
And it's super good. It does taste like coffee. It's a tea. It's a healthy tea. I'm just saying it's really good. This is not an advertisement for mud water, but if they want to use it, they can. It's really good. I'm just saying. So, but like it's that kind of perception. Like you're a child, you witness something. You see a teacher scold another student. Like you like there's that preconceived notions. Sometimes our internal reaction, our belief system, what we know, what we like, what we feel,
how we define ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Like it ends up being like a, you know, it's not just about the perception to which we took in, but it's also about how we personally feel, how we define ourselves, and then how we connect to that. And so, and it really is like, oh, all of the things happening, you know, in our youth, and we don't even realize that some of those quirks that were created by ourselves and influenced by our external influences as well ends up staying around, and then you know, you're 30 and you don't know why, you know, your husband drives you nuts or something.
I was just saying, it's like there's always those stories, and it's like there's two specific that I know of, and one of them's more of a traditional Chinese kind of thing, but the other one has to do with like the lady who was buying the ham and cutting off both ends of the ham and putting it in the pan before she put it in the oven, and she asked her mom one day, like, why do we cut off both ends of the ham? And she's like, oh, it's because the pan that I had wouldn't fit the whole ham. Right? And so we still do those pattern things, even though there's no logical reason for them anymore.
Her daughter does it that way, and then the next generation does it, even though the pan's gotten big.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, that's hilarious.
Right.
Get a new pan.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of those things. You just cut the ends off and get rid of it.
We don't need this extra ham.
I don't need it.
No. Yeah, I don't really like ham anyway.
I
So that
don't either.
does not make me sad.
I know, but it's just
But if it was
funny.
a roast,
yeah,
that would kind of piss me off. I'd be like, dude, Mama loves her some beef.
Yeah.
Like,
just make the foil bigger. No.
collect all the juices. It's so good.
Yeah.
Put that stuff on some potatoes. Yeah. I'm just saying. God damn it. I hope I don't cheat on potatoes again this week. I've been talking about it so much. I need a distraction.
Change.
But seriously, not planned. Okay, so if you could change, this is the last question I'm going to ask because I know we're getting to time and you guys are really like, stop giggling and talk about things. Like, not going to happen. So if you could change anything going forward in your life, what would it be? And this could be something that you want to change. Like, what do you need to start doing to start implementing it so that you can succeed at it? And do you intend to? Yeah. The most important is, are you gonna do it?
Yeah. So, you know, when it goes back to kind of some of the things that we've already touched on quite a bit, is like, I kind of consider myself a little bit of a loner, and yet at the same time, I have really amazing community. And I don't get out in community enough. I don't get out and speak and talk to people and do this sort of thing. It's like I do what a lot of us do. It's like I go to work, I do what I have to do at work, and I go home, and then I do it again, and I do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
repetitious behavior.
And honestly, it's like it puts me in a space to where I struggle with burnout, and I struggle with, like, you know, energy,
and just
everything.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's getting out and doing things like this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think I'm supposed to say that at the beginning of the show, but it doesn't matter because nobody's listening.
It's okay.
It's cool.
Nobody's listening.
As
we say, we'll just have fun videos to share with each other.
Yes, and then
40 years from now, we'll be like, hey, look what I did. Somebody made a comment.
Someone did. Yay, us. Who is it? Working out, and I think it starts with better sleep. Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
And oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many times it drives me nuts that when I have clients that are trying to push through not getting enough sleep, and so they're like, they don't even text me and say, hey, I got no sleep, I can't work out today. They're like, okay, I'll just push through. And it's like, dude, you're going to set yourself up for adrenal fatigue. You're going to keep on going, and you're just, I mean, like, the first and most important thing of any kind of nutrition or exercise or anything is, if you're going to hit your goals, you, have to prime your body to make sure the nutrients are there so that your body can get rid of any excess that it wants to, or can perform any way that you're trying to get it to. And the number 2 thing is making sure that you take care of rest, and making sure that rest is included in regulating your body system and regulating hormones and keeping up with hydration, which I know a lot of you have been doing a lot of drinking over the last 2 years.
Yeah, water.
Water.
So those are the big 3 things to start with. Is like, cutting the crap out of your diet. I actually use. Well, it's like
for me.
Yeah. And some people, it's the caffeine and the carbohydrates that are processed carbohydrates, but some of
and
us
not
it's
drinking enough
potatoes.
water when you do drink those things. I'm not saying you can't have your cocktail. I'm just saying if you're going to drink your cocktail, make sure that you drink equal parts of water in conjuncture. So either like in that day or even after. Same thing with caffeine. Caffeine is a natural dehydrated.
Yep.
Like half the people that you're talking to that are yawning when they're talking to them, they're actually not tired and sleep deprived. They're dehydrated.
And
because
they're not breathing.
Yes. Oh my God. Can you even? We should just do a whole video on like breathing.
Breathe.
No? Yeah? Did you get it?
Breathe.
Did you get it?
Breathe.
I like how it had the viewer on there, and then we were like, breathe, okay? And then they're like, God. It's like, I don't want to listen to the rest of that. I wish I could tell you who it was, because then I could just be like I'm going to text you after the show. I'm going to get you. And you're just like, yeah, breathe. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you found any of this delightfully entertaining or useful tips for whatever reason, please follow us at Capital Health on Facebook or on YouTube. Reach out to capitalhealth.com for newsletter and latest updates. And if you, how can they get a hold of you, Madame?
But how do you get a hold of me? Bezen, BEZEN, HWC, which stands for Holistic Wellness Center.
If you're watching, you can see this
it's
at the bottom of your screen.
BezenHWC.com is the easiest way to get a hold of us. And our growing team.
Woohoo!
That's one of our changes.
And
that is on Barnes and it's in the book as well. Barnes and Noble, Amazon. There's other places that I don't remember right this second, but easy to find there. And that's probably
the gist.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and guys, just so you know, we need to make sure going forward, please, by all means, on Facebook, on YouTube, it doesn't matter, in the comments page, ask the things that you want to see. Like, it doesn't matter where you write them. You can write all random shenanigans, all crazy comments. You can write crazy, like, insults or poke the bear. I don't care. Like, it's all welcome. So, but I would love to see, what do you guys want to hear about? What are some of the subjects you want to see going forward? It doesn't have to be about changing your shirt. It could be pretty much about anything. Because at the Capital Life podcast, the goal is to talk about life. We have to share, we have to communicate. It takes a village. We have to be open and honest with each other. We are going, if you have not gone on to capitalhealth.com, I highly encourage you to. All of the updates are done and they look phenomenal, and I'm so excited about all the work that has been going. We have so many different things coming your way. Right now, you can actually currently go on and purchase programs. Programs have been, there's 20 programs that I've written. Some of them have to do with rehab. Some of them have to do with like finer assets and flabtastic and like skull-defying arms. And this lady right here was the one to request exercises pertaining to if you have an injury from your lower end or your upper end. And so I wrote programs so that you can stay active even when half of your body's not working. So you can go on and enjoy this. Yep. And if you use the Capital Life if you use the Capital Life, that code will get you a reduced rate off of all the programs. So it's not like, oh, you only get $15 off. It's like if you bought 3 of them, you got $45 off. So that's exciting, because then we always need to know what we're doing and how much fun it is. And you'll be able to see Fred Schott's work all over it every single day, and yours truly demonstrating the exercises, and they're yours for life, which who doesn't want that? And even more important is that starting next week, we are going to have apparel. So we're gonna have like Razorback tanks and some T-shirts
And
and
then
all
you'll
kinds.
have no reason not to change your shirt.
I know, because then I'll like have to. I'll actually. It's like it'll be like, oh, it's coming off. Whoosh! And then like, did I wear one? No, I didn't wear one tonight. I should have thought about that. And then even more important, it is the subscription options. The app is going to be launching in the summer of 2022, and I'm so excited about it. We are pre-selling it with massive discounts, which basically the discounts are so big, it's almost like getting it for free for a year, or even paying for 1 year for getting 2 years. So like I can't even tell you, I'm crazy. I'm just crazy.
This is not news.
Okay.
But it's good. We love your crazy.
Okay. Well, at least it's enjoyed. But nobody seems to care or listen.
They will.
I wouldn't. It's just like sometimes at the end of the day, I can't even stand the sound of my own voice. I'm like, I need quiet time because I'm like, too much talking.
And then I listen to it later and I'm like, did I really say that?
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, have a great day. You guys, thanks so much for joining us, and keep it real with real people on the Capital Life podcast.